Today we're gonna make one of my favorite, easiest recipes to make. It's something that I like to call my mushroom chicken rice bake. Don't really have a name for it, just because I just don't. We have rice. We have cream of mushroom chicken soup. I like Campbell's. Their flavor is a lot better. Again, not trying to promote or anything, just recommending. And then next we have some chicken breast fillets. And I love mushroom. I super love mushroom, and there's just not enough in the can of soup to include for my liking. So I have another package of Baby Bella sliced mushrooms. Now I like the portobello mushrooms a lot better, again, with the flavor. There's always a lot of flavor in my food. I love mixing flavors, finding out what tastes the best, what tastes the coolest, mixed with what, and things like that. Super easy. This is gonna be like a one pan done and done job. I take a regular 9x13 glass, metal, you can use what you want. I prefer to cook with glass, that's just personal preference though. We are going to preheat the oven to 355 degrees. And yes, we will just be using one pan, like I said, to make the whole thing. So I actually know measurements on this one. Wow, believe it or not. Most of my recipes are just cooked by eyeball, so it's a lot of guesswork for me. And so when people are like, "Oh, write a recipe," I'm like, some of that and some of this, and until it fill it. But I'm actually gonna go ahead and measure out, like I said, because rice and pasta in the oven is a very hard thing to get correct without messing everything up. I always like to put the cup actually inside my pan, just in case there's any spillage. I don't have to clean up the floor, and it's usually not much, so it's not too hard to account for overages. Alright, so I have mastered this trick, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to put your rice. Yes, no, it is not cooked yet, and no, it is not instant rice. Look, I will show you the bag. It is regular, just long grain enriched, okay? Raw, it is not cooked, it has not been steamed, it has not been pre-soaked, it has not done anything like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the hot water. And we're going to get 2 full cups of these. Now remember, I used 1 full cup of rice. Now 1 full cup of this little measuring thing here is actually 2 cups in measurement. So realistically, we're using 2 cups of rice to 4 cups of water. It's best to use it when it's hot, because it helps pre-soak the rice. We're going to go ahead and open our soup now. So after we've dumped the can of soup in there, we're going to add some water and some milk. And basically how we want to do this is it's going to be a half-to-half ratio. Most people know already when you're using a condensed soup, you're going to add water or milk to it anyway, especially a cream-based soup. Alright, as you can see there, a nice full can of water and milk. Go ahead and just pour that directly into your pan. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and stir all that liquid that we just poured in. We're going to get a nice little stir in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to use a whisk, you're more than welcome to. So the reason I don't really like to whisk up and get all these chunks out is because when it cooks, the rice is going to be cooked with the water that we put in there at first. Then all this soup and all this moisture is going to cook into the chicken and then make the rice extra moist and extra juicy, and just make it puffy and awesome. And occasionally you can find a section of rice or a part of a chicken that has been extra saturated in the soup, which actually makes it for great taste. If you don't want to have too many big chunks in it, go ahead and take a whisk and just whisk it a little like that. So now that that's nice and whisked, I'm gonna go ahead and add the mushrooms on top of here because I like mushrooms and so does my husband. And you obviously do not have to do this step if you don't like mushrooms like we do. But just go ahead and pour those right in there, right on top. So now that I've opened the chicken, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the pieces out. Not do anything with them unless you really want to. If you like to add extra butter or anything like that, that is your choice completely. But go ahead and plop those babies right on in there, just like so. Fantastic. Now it is quite full. The milk line is very close to the top, so please be very careful when you're putting it into the oven. Now we're going to be adding the seasoning. I put the chopped onions, nice and sprinkled, just whatever your preference and taste. Like I said, I do all my cooking by eyeballing, which means it's all going to be towards my preference of taste. Use the Mediterranean sea salt. I think it just makes the flavors pop, and it really brings out the flavor in anything you make, really. Oh, we definitely need some pepper. Let's go there. What's a good flavor to go with mushroom? I think I have found it. And use the Old Bay seafood seasoning flavor. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. But yes, I'm going to sprinkle a nice little layer here. Now this is going to have to actually be mixed in. I should have done this earlier. But it's never too late to add seasonings, especially when you're gonna just throw everything into the oven. Our oven is now preheated to 350 degrees. And as you notice, all I did was put everything into one pan. Now here comes the hard part. Since it's so full, I have to take it from the top and into the oven. Let's give it a go. Now that that's in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer for 45 minutes. You guys are going to want to stir that here in a few minutes just to make sure it's still awesome and juicy. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and want to turn up the oven to 450. After cooking for another 45 minutes, check the chicken to make sure it's completely done, and then go ahead and take it out of the oven. Look at that yummy goodness, guys. Obviously it will be boiling, but look at that. Let it cool off and enjoy.